Hello everyone, I am Shrikant. Today we are going to learn about Salesforce Flows with real-time scenarios. By end of this video, you will be able to understand flow and its types, choosing the flow type for a given use case, best practices in flow, how to debug a flow, and finally we'll have some quiz or interview questions following along. First things first, what is a flow? Flow is something which automates our business process, and it will also help us to build custom screens and finally empowering our AI agents. And all this without writing single line of code. This makes Flow an undisputed king in Salesforce ecosystem. What does that mean? What can it automate? It can automate actions that we do it manually in Salesforce. Who are you, by the way? My name is QBoy. As part of my business requirements, I have things to automate, but I don't know flows. Yeah, you're in the right place at the right time. Let's beat this together. If Salesforce had a superhero, it would be Flow Builder. This powerful tool can automate around 50 to 60% of the client requirements without writing a single line of code. And it's a disclaimer, flows are very easy to learn. That's awesome! Can Flow send an email alert to sales rep if an opportunity is created? Yes, Salesforce Flow has types. Record triggered flow will do the job for you. How about creating a custom screen for my user which greets them when they log in? Yes, screen flow will do the job for you. Automatic deletion of unwanted old records every night? Yes, schedule flow will do the job. Our sales reps needs a kill button on opportunity to update multiple fields at once. Yes, Autolaunched flow will do this job. And disclaimer, Autolaunched flows are king of flows. Awesome! Flows can fix my troubles, but seems there are many flow types. How can I find which type matches my requirement? And how can I even remember them? So there are lot of type of flows like you mentioned: screen flow, platform event flow, auto-launch flow, record trigger flow, schedule flow. These are the primary flow types. To remember this, the easiest way is SPARS, S-P-A-R-S. S stands for screen flow, P stands for platform, A for auto-launched, R for record trigger, S for again schedule trigger flow. And there is a fun fact here, we got 25 flow types which are very specific use cases, which will be used for very specific use cases. These 4-5 flow types which you are seeing on this top will cover 95% of the scenarios. I heard workflows and process builders can also solve many use cases which flows does solve. How they are different? Unfortunately, workflows and process builders are retired. Since flows have been introduced, Salesforce have kept lot of focus on flows rather than process builders and workflows. Now, flows will be able to do everything that process builders and workflows does. Understood. Here is my scenario. I want to display welcome user message on home page once user logs in. Can we achieve this with flow? Yes. Screen flows can build user interface for your use case. Any custom UI you need to build, always think of screen flow first. If it is too complex to achieve in screen flow, only then go ahead with LWC. Before starting our first flow, we need to know what are the elements that are available in Flow Builder. Here if you can see, these are the elements: create, update, delete, get, rollback, screen, assignment, decision, loop. Yeah, I know. This is very exhausting to understand and memorize them all. So, let's learn it while we built it. Here is my demo org. This is a brand new org, so people who wants to practice can follow the same step which I am exactly doing. And the good thing is, we will be using only the standard objects. So to create your first flow, you need to type flow in the setup and then click on flows here. And it will take you to the screen where it is already having some standard flows. Now we need to create a new flow here. Click on it. And if you remember, there are primarily 5 types that I have told you, out of which these are very frequently used: record trigger flow, screen flow, schedule triggered flow, and auto launch flow. And there is one more called platform event trigger flow, which is not in this list in the frequently used, but these are the primarily used flows. So we need to create a screen flow here because we want to show something to the user once they logged in, right? So click on screen flow. And this is what we called Flow Builder. So here we'll have different elements: start, and we'll have end. So whatever logic that you want to do, you can put it here. Now we wanted to add or display a screen to the user. So click on plus. Now you will be seeing different type of elements here, right? As per our scenario, we need to show a message. So click on screen. So I wanted to display simple text. Okay, now you can just search for text. So these are input text and this is a display text, which means this is an output text, complete readable basically. So you need to give some whatever value that you want to hear. So I will say welcome user. Okay, and you need to give some API into this. Say that this is a message to user, and here you can say, maybe you can take out this label because I just want to show a welcome message. So I don't want this header. Okay, so you can do that by clicking on configure header, show header, just uncheck it so that it will be gone. And even in the footer, it's just a message, right? So you don't want any of these buttons. In this case, I don't want this as well. So I will make this. Now for this one or for this flow, I need to give a label saying that welcome flow, right? And if I scroll down in here, instead of welcome user, this is very bland, right? So let's add the logged in username, right? So how we can do that? So Salesforce has some kind of resources. You see, this is something where it will have some resources where we can get logged in username, the logged in current date time, and it will also have the running user profile, system information, etc. Right? Now in our case, we just want to give the logged in username, right? So here running user, and I want to give both first name and last name. Okay, so first name with space, again last name. Where's last name? Here. Okay, so welcome first name, last name, logged in user. Okay, but can we make it bold? So we'll just select it and we can put bold here. If we want to increase the font, let's do that. Maybe 18. Yeah, this is good. And maybe I can change the background color of this. So Flows has the styling as well. Like we have it in LWC, we have CSS. Here also we have that kind of feature. So let's click here, style. Maybe I can put some background color which is very much Salesforce color. Okay, I select it. The change will not get reflected until I click on done. I know this is not great, but yeah, hope you understood what we are trying to do and what we can do, right? So I click on done. So our first flow is ready, but we need to activate it. So click on save, welcome user flow. Okay, and then click on save. So whenever there is only one element, it will give this kind of warning. Just ignore them. Okay, so click here. Warnings will not stop you to activate it, just for your information. Click on activate. Now our flow is ready. Okay, we need to display this once they logged in, right? Let's add it to the home page. So I'm going to select Salesforce Chatter homepage. So this is where I would like to add this welcome user message. Remember, not all standard home pages will allow you to add components in that page. Okay, there are very few standard pages, and almost all custom home pages will allow you to add components into the home page. In this case, we are adding the welcome user into this Salesforce Chatter page by clicking on edit page. Whenever you need to add any flow, screen flow into a page, you need to find them with flow. You see, flow. Drag and drop wherever you want it. Okay, I wanted to display it here. Now, here you need to mention the flow name here, right? So take out which is already there. It will have some default flow name, but we need to add our flow name. What was that? It starts with welcome user flow. Let's add it and let's click on save, activate. I will make this as org default, so click on save, and let's go back and then check whether our change is reflected or not. You see, welcome Vegi Shrikant. First name is Vegi and last name is Shrikant, and it is displaying. We could do better styling as well, but yeah, let's live with it. And voila, we have completed our first flow in Salesforce. That's look nice. Now I want to create quick contact from account page. User should be able to provide first name, last name and email. Yes, let's do this. It's a cakewalk with Flows. To create a quick contact from account, we again need to go and create a screen flow. So search for Flows here and click on Flows and again click on new flow. And here identify the screen flow, and here again we need to add the screen where it has to take inputs of contact, right? So click on plus, again click on screen like we have done previously. Now we need to add the input element. So now user should be able to provide some input here for first name, last name, email and phone. Let's add phone also, right? So let's try to put some text here, and you see long text area, text, and this is display text. Like I mentioned, this is a read only. This is long text area, which is not useful for us here. This is text. Let's drag and drop here and let's name it as first name. Nice. Let's make it required so that it will not allow you to go to next step until user provides some value, right? Again click on drag and drop under text, make it last name and require, and let's drag email. Email, you can directly grab this text or there is a specific email type. Just drag and drop so that it will allow only the email formats. Okay. Now you see this is how it will allow you. You don't need to do that validation. That's the reason you can directly drag and drop email. And let's drag phone also. We have phone type 2. So let's drag and drop phone. And now we have 4 inputs that user need to provide, right? Now that we have this, so let's click here. So in this header, now I want this header, unlike in the previous step, we want this header. Let's name it as provide contact info. Okay. And click here, scroll down, and here I don't want pause. I don't want previous because I don't have any previous screen. If there are 2 or 3 different screens, previous will take you to the previous screen and we don't want that. So let's remove them. So click here, show footer. We want the footer. However, we don't want the previous button. Hide previous, hide pause. In finish, instead of finish, I would like to have something called create contact. So instead of finish as a label, I want a different label. So click here as a use a custom label and call it as create contact. And I think we are done, right? We can also have the styling like we have seen before. So let's quickly go to the top, style, background color, maybe some, yeah. Let's keep it simple. This is having sharp edges, right? We can remove that actually. So click on style and there is something called border radius. Let's make it as 2. Yeah, 2 looks good, right? Or 1. 2 looks good. So click here and then click on done. What is that? Yeah, this is email. Didn't I select email? Yeah, we just need to give the API name for this email. We just dragged and dropped. We haven't provided any name. So click here. For phone also, we just need to provide phone. And click on done. Now we have our screen ready. Let's click on save, quick contact. Click on save and activate. So we have created our flow to create a contact, but we need to add this flow under account, right? So let's go to home page. Let's find accounts tab. Open any account, that should be fine. Now here I wanted to add quick contact. You see there is a new contact button which exactly does the same, but for this flow purpose we have just created something very similar. So click on edit page. You are basically adding this flow to account page layout. Not for that account, we are adding it for account page layout. So we'll close this and add this flow. So if you open any other account, you will be seeing the same flow. Now remove this default value and now we need to select quick contact and click on save. Activate. Assign org as default. Desktop next. Save. And good to go. So let's go back and then see if the account page is showing up that contact. You see this curved borders looking so good. Maybe we can work on this color, but yeah, you see first name, last name, email and phone. Okay, let's give some names, let's give some contact details here. Okay, so Shrikant abc@def.com and click on create contact. Did it create? Of course it did not create any contact here. Contact isn't getting created. How can we do that? Chill. We just created screen component, just UI. We must tell Flow to insert by adding create component. Let's get back to the flow. Let's scroll down and find quick contact again. Let's click on this flow. Now, if you can see, we only have screen element here. We need to insert that input data which we got from user. So for that, you need to click again and scroll down, and here we have DML statements. So here you need to select create records, right? So click on create records, and here you can mention something like create contact. So this is the element. Okay, now here it will ask how to set this record field variables. We already have all the field values from this screen, so we can set that manually. So I will click that manually here. Okay, so on which object we need to do it? So let's call it contact, and here it will give you the field names. Okay, so first it has given default as last name. Here you can select last name, which is directly coming from the screen component. From the screen, when we have added that input item, that name was given as last name. Let me go back there, I will show you. So you click last name here, you see the API name of this one is last name, and if I click on first name, the API name is first name. If I click on email, the API name is email, and the phone, it is phone. We will be exactly mapping them to the field names of contact. So last name, search for last name, and again first name, and again it should be mapped with first name here. So from the screen, search for first name, which will be the exact mapping of that name, and click on email. Let's search email of the object. So these are the fields of the object which you are trying to match with the email of that screen component. So click here and it will ask you the value, okay, email of that value, and click again, search for phone. So you have different type of phones, just select mobile phone, and you can just mention again in the screen, in the phone, search for the value. Okay, now we are good with create component or create element. Now let's click on save as new version. Whenever you edit any flow, you need to save it as a new version. You cannot edit any existing flow. Okay, so click on save as new version and quick contact. Let the other values as default. So click on save. Now a new version of the flow has been created, where it will take the input in the screen element and the insertion will happen in this create element. Okay, let's activate this and let's go back to the account. Let's refresh this page and test it out. Okay, what I'm gonna do is just give some details, right? So contact 1, LN1, last name 1 basically, and email abc@def1.com, and phone number I will give just random number here, and then click on create contact. Now did you see any change here? I really don't see any contact here, right? But let's search, did it really create by going into the contacts tab. So open a new tab and here search for it, or you should be able to find it if it has been already created. My contacts, you see this is the same contact that I have created or I have given, right? You see the phone number DF1. This is exactly the same details that I have given, which means the contact has been created. However, it is not tagged to this account. Contact created successfully. How to associate it to an account? It's very easy. Let me show you. Open our flow again. So let's go back here, and if you have already seen, this is our screen where we are taking the input, and this is where we are inserting the contact. However, to associate any contact to an account, obviously we need to align this particular field of account here, right? Account ID equals. This is how we associate a contact with an account. How to get this account ID, right? So To do that, we need to do two things. Let's create a simple variable here to hold the account ID. You see, these are already existing elements, like the elements that we have added, the screen that we have added, and these are the screen components, etc. Right? So let's create a new resource. This is how you can create variables, constants, formulas, etc. Now we want to create a variable. Okay, so click on variable and let's call it as account ID from detail page. Okay, and let's create this as a text type because we need account ID itself is a text, right? So that's a simple variable, so it's not multiple values, it's a simple value, so we don't need to select anything here. But this is very important, available for input. So this flow needs this value coming from somewhere. It has to take input from somewhere. Okay, right? That somewhere is something called detail page. Okay, so like we need to make it as input so that it is available for input. Someone needs to send it, we'll take it as the input. Now click on done. Output is nothing like, so this flow can send some values to a different module. It can be a flow or it can be anything that can be called from this flow. Okay, so in this case we are selecting only available for input and let's click on done. Now we have created this variable account ID from detail page. Okay, we can directly use that here to populate this, right? Click on this. Now whatever value that will be available here will be populated into this field, which means this contact will be tied with this account ID that we are getting. However, currently this value will be null, so if you don't do anything and you save this flow, then automatically null will be assigned to account ID, so this contact will be still an orphan, right? Let's click on save as a new version and click on save, and let's activate this as well. So click on activate. Now flow is activated, right? So we have only aligned a variable value to account ID. At this point of time, this value is empty, right? So we need to populate this. How we will populate it? So wherever we are creating the contact, we want to associate this contact to that respective account. If I open a different account and then do the same information, I wanted to associate that contact to that account, right? So which means the information has to be passed from this page to the contact flow, right? So to do that, this already will have account ID here. If you see, this is the account ID that has to be passed. So to pass any such values to a flow, we have an option from edit page. So click on edit page. So earlier we just dragged the flow into this respective account detail page, right? Now if I click on here, as I made this particular variable as available for input, I'm able to see this here, right? If you have, you can create any number of input variables like that, and those will be shown in this format. So you can pass the value from here. You can send some hard-coded values, or you can also pass this record ID directly to this variable. So you see there is a checkbox, pass record ID into this variable. By clicking on this, the record ID of this particular page will be passed into this input variable, which means as soon as this flow is loaded, the value of this account ID will be available in this variable. So by the time it is loaded, the variable will be loaded with account ID, which means by the time you create contact, this value will pass into the account ID and it will associate that contact to this account. Let's see whether it works or not. So click on save and then go back and let's try to find it, right? So we only have one contact. Let's try to see if I add another contact here, if it is getting associated to this account or not, right? So new contact to check the association abc@def2.com, phone number, yeah, and click on create contact. You see, as soon as I click on create, you see the new contact has been created and it has been associated with this account. That's the reason you are seeing this contact under here. Clicking on that contact, you will see the detail page where the account name populated with this account name. So this is how you can create and associate a contact to that account. And there is one more thing that I want to show here. So we have given some decent values and we are able to see contact creation, right? Let me try something different. Okay, so let me give some random big text in first name. Okay, and let's click on last name, add some phone number, And you see, maybe you have observed we have given some weird first name, right? So let's click on create contact and then see what happens, right? Click on create contact. You see, it says an unhandled fault has occurred in this flow, right? Which means the contact has not been created because of some failure. How to find it? So to do that, always go to the Flows tab, or you can go to setup and then search something called failed. So here you can see the paused and failed interviews. So click on it. And here you will have multiple list views. Search for all failed flow interviews. And you see, there is one failed flow interview which was created with the same flow, which means for this flow, for this version of the flow, currently we are in 4th version, you see version 4, we got an error, right? Which means the error that you are seeing here has been logged here. So this is how you can see when there is a failure, you will be able to identify from here. So click on it. And from here you will be able to understand why that has been failed. So you see it has failed to create record. You see, this is where it is failing, right? In here it clearly says string too long. First name could hold around 40 characters, but we have given very big character length. You see, the maximum length is 40, but we have given very large text. That's the reason it caused the failure. But this message is too technical. Can we do it more user readable? Yes, this is called error handling. Flow can easily handle this. To do such kind of error handling, we need to add something called fault paths. You see, in this screen, we have contact information to be provided by user, right? Here, we are inserting the contact. So we need to add fault paths wherever we are anticipating the error. In this case, DML statements are the place where we can get errors, right? So if you click here, you would be seeing something called add fault path. I click here, it will create a path for me. You won't find such kind of things for other elements except for DML statements and for other actions. You will be finding that fault path wherever there is a room for getting an error, right? So in this case, this is a DML statement. That's the reason you will be finding the fault path, right? So here I will add one more screen to display the proper user readable error message, right? So I will click on screen, and here I don't want header, I don't want footer, I just want to display message. So I click here, I scroll down and then uncheck show header, click here again, show footer unchecked, right? Here I want to display message. So drag and drop some display message. First I will give name for this, display message, and here I will write something called contact creation failed. Okay, I could give something like this, or I could also add the actual error message, something like, you can find that from global variables. In our first scenario, we have added user first name and last name here, right? Because these are the variables that are available and be given by Salesforce Flows. In the same way, we'll have something called fault messages under flow interview variable, right? Flow.fault message, right? Error message is, right? Let me put everything on red. Select and red. Done. Let's keep it bold. Yeah, I think that should do. And this I will just give display error window. Click on done. So we have the error window. Whenever any error that occurs in this contact creation, it will go here. If there is no error, it will just end this flow after creating the contact, right? Let's see how this works. So click on save as new version and click on save, activate, and now you should be able to provide some details. So let's try to give the same long text. Okay, and last name, phone number, and click on create contact. Now you see contact creation failed and it has given some technical error, clearly showing the string is too long, first name data value too large, and also any user may clearly understand first name is little long, right? he can send this message to admin where admin can further diagnose this, but as a user I am able to understand this, so I will just refresh this page. Instead of giving 40 characters, I will just give less than that in the first name, and I should be able to create my contact without any issues. This is how you can do the error handling on any element wherever there is a chance of getting errors. This is called error handling. However, we can clear this problem little upfront. How? So user is getting this issue after he clicking on create contact. Let's not even give him the chance of going to create contact until the first name, last name are having the valid inputs, right? So I can just click on first name, and if you can scroll down here, you would be seeing something called validate input. Here I will write a formula. You see there is a formula where you can validate something here, and if this is not matching, then you can give a message here. You see error message. So let me scroll down. Let me click here resource picker, and from the screen element I'm saying that first name, and the length of the first name should be less than 40, right? So I will just put length. This is the formula, okay, to find the number of characters. LEN, less than or equal to 40. It should be less than or equal to 40. Let's assume this is not happening, which means the user provided more than 40 characters. It should give some error message, right? Saying that first name should be black, for some reason it is in white. First name character length cannot be greater than 40. Okay, let's put this in little red color. Done, and then let's click on done. Let's do that only for first name. Okay, let's see how that works. Yeah, you can click on save as new version, click on save, and then you can activate it. And there is one more trick I want to show you here. Before going into the actual page and then test it out, you can also debug your flows by yourself, right? You click on debug, and here it will ask you the input variable. You can just give the input account ID directly from here and then see how it shows you in this screen. Okay, let's click on this, copy, and go here, paste it, and then click on run. Now it will give you the exact page that you're going to see here. Of course, not with the styling. This is how you can debug your flows, right? Here I can just type the same thing. This is a fast debugging method. You see, first name character length cannot be greater than 40. Even though if I click on create contact, it will not let you go further until you provide the values. Last time we marked it as required. That's the reason it is not allowing you. So you just need to make it less than 40. Only then it will allow you to create it, right? And then give some values, and then phone, and then click on create contact. So your flow has been finished. So you can clearly see what is happening here, right? Now I go to this page and then click on refresh page. You see the record which we have created here. We can test the same thing from here as well. So let's type some long text. It is not allowing to do it because it will give an error. So this is how you can put some validations in place upfront, or you can also do it from error handling as well, right? Scenario number 5. If a contact exists with the same phone number, then it should update the contact, else it should create a contact. Fantastic. This is how we need to validate data before pushing it to Salesforce. Of course, this can be done. Let's get back to Salesforce, to the active version. Now what QBoy expects here is, in this screen, whenever phone number has been entered and clicked on create contact, instead of directly creating the contact, which is the next step, creation of contact, he wants us to check if any contact is available with the same phone number, right? Which means to find that, we need to query against the database to see if there is any such contact exists with the same phone number, right? So for that, we need to click on get contact. So get records is the one which will do the query against Salesforce database. So what I would do is query contact with same phone number. Now here we need to provide the contact object, which object we are querying it, and here you can provide the conditions. So what is that condition? Phone number matching with, will put mobile phone, equals matching with the phone number that user provided in this screen. So in the screen, search for phone, and inside phone, the value of that phone, right? So here you can provide just mobile number, or you can also search for other fields as well with the same other fields related to phone. Let's say business phone. Okay, let's keep it business phone, and I will do the same screen flow dot phone dot value. So it is searching any other contacts exist with the same phone number matching either on the mobile phone field or business phone. Here these are two conditions, either it can be matched with this or this, right? So we can put a or condition. If you have more conditions, you can use custom conditions as well, or you can just put or and based on your requirement. In this case, phone number has to be matched with either mobile phone number or business phone. Now once this is done, if there is, how many records that we need to store? Let's say if there are more than one contact that is getting stored, we can select all records. If it is only one record, you can select this. Ideally, it will be only one record that is matching. So let's leave it as default. Okay. So now we got the query, right? This query, if this query results at least one row, that means there is an existing contact with the same phone number, right? So that's when whether we need to decide we need to create contact or we need to update the contact, right? So here we will put a decision to decide whether this contact query returned any result, right? So click on plus, and here I would put decision. Decision is nothing but decider whether we have something or a different thing or something else, right? It's like it will have multiple outcomes. So it says here we can just give the name something like if contact exists with same phone number, right? We'll put a question mark, and now here there can be multiple outcomes. Outcome 1, yes, exists. When we call this exists, if this query is giving any result, then we can call this particular outcome as yes exists, right? So what I would do is, so this is the get records. So just select this, and here I will select is null false. If is null false, that means it is not having null, which means it is having some value, right? So this query is not null, which means this query is having some value, which means a contact exists with the same phone number, right? That's what S exists means. You can also put no, or you can just leave the default outcome. Default outcome in the sense, if it is not null, obviously it is null in the default outcome. Or you can explicitly call it out also. In here I will just leave it as is, but default outcome I will just name it as no, it doesn't exist. Here S says this query is not null, which means this query is giving some result. Now the fun part begins. Now if the phone number exists, we need to do an update. If the phone number doesn't exist in any existing contact, we need to create it, which means this one has to go in here, correct? Right? So create contact should go into this path, and SExist should have a new element called update. So let's copy paste this, or cut paste this, not copy paste, cut paste. So cut, and then here let's paste it. You see, as soon as you cut, you will have multiple options where exactly you can paste it. Any node you can paste it. I want this one to be pasted here, so I will click here. Now you see, if the contact exists with the same phone number, no, it doesn't exist, then we are creating a contact. If there is any failure while we are creating contact, it will display error. If it doesn't exist, if it exists, that means we need to update the same contact, correct? So what we're gonna do is click here, and now I will say update. Now what are you gonna update? Update existing contact, right? So what we're gonna exist? What we're gonna update? Here you can see we can either select a record or you can specify the conditions manually. We have already queried that record here, which means this is the same record that should get updated with the values that we provide here, right? So as we already have that record, I can just give that record here. We see contact from query. But this record as of now will have whatever it has been queried. Let's say this particular contact is having the first name as David. That will be still David, even though you provided here as David Martin, right? So for that, you need to update this value, update this query information with this screen, with this user provided data. So how we can do it? We have something called assign. With this assignment, you can update your data as required. So assign or populate retrieved contact with user provided info. Okay, so click here and then here I will select get record. This record dot first name equals screen provided first name. Again, get record last name, where is last name, equals screen provided last name. Again, get record which we have queried dot email equals screen provided email value, right? I don't need to populate phone because phone number is matching. That's how we have got this query, right? So in this case, we have populated this record information with the latest values that we got it from the screen, and we are passing the same record to this particular update record element. So the expectation is we should be seeing this update, right? So click here and we are good. So just to make sure, I will just zoom out to show you how it looks like. It enters here, user provides the contact information here, and it will query against contact object. If phone number exists in any of the account, then it will go in this path. If it does not exist, it will go in this path to create the record. If there is any error with create record, it will go to this fault path. If the record exists with the same phone number, then we are populating that record, first name, last name and email with user provided screen information. And once that is done, we are updating that respective record. And finally, both of them ends in the respective paths. Either it will run in this path or in this path. Let's save it as a new version and then let's test it out. Save as new version, save and activate. We can even debug from here, but I will show you in this direct screen. Go here, refresh this page. Now, David Martin and abc@def.com, and then I will give a phone number 9898989898. Okay, and then click on save. Now you see David Martin has been created, and the phone number here, the phone number that you are seeing is empty because it is displaying home phone, if I am not wrong, not the mobile phone. Now what we are going to do is we will provide the same information. Let's try it out. Okay, David updated. So we are giving the first name change. We are changing the first name. Okay, Martin updated, and email abc@df, right? I will just give xyz.com. Okay, you see, instead of abcdef12, it should become xyz.com, but phone number has to be matched. So 98989898 and 98. Now this phone number is matching with this particular contact's phone number, so the first name, last name and email should get updated. This contact should get updated with the user provided info because the phone number is matching. And click on create contact. And now you see this exactly changed like we expected. David updated, Martin updated, and email changed to abc@xyz.com. This is how you can deal with update and create and decision box. Nice. Can we redirect the user to the newly created record after user saves the contact? Yes, it's super possible by using page action. What Cuba is asking here is, as soon as you provide the contact info and clicked on create contact, it should navigate to that contact record rather than staying in the same page. We can do that by using something called page action. Okay, so after you create that record, you want this redirection to happen, so which means you need to put it here. You can also put it here as well, because after update also you must navigate it to the respective record. So let's put to the create first. So click on create and click on action and set something called page. So here you see something called open a page. Click here and then I could say something called navigate to the created contact, right? And here it is asking what type of page I need to redirect. Of course, this is Salesforce record page. You can also give web page, but that is something different. So record, which record ID I need to navigate. So whatever record that is getting created in the previous step, that record ID we need to provide here. So click here. It is saying create records. You see, create record, contact from create record, create record. click here and it will have something called ID. So we should be having something called record ID. Where is record ID? Contact ID. Yeah. You see, this is ID field. API name is ID, right? So click here. Now we have provided the contact ID. Now it is asking the object name. You need to specify the API name. As this is the standard contact object, I can directly type contact. If it is a custom object, that custom object __ C, right? You wanted to open that detail page, whether it's in view mode or in edit mode. So I wanted that to open as a view mode, so let's leave it. It is again asking the parameter whether it should be a new browser tab or it should be new browser window or console tab. So let's keep it simple, new browser tab. So we have added this. You can also add it here or you can put it here also as a common action. Okay, let's close this and then click on save as new version, save, and let's activate. So now once the contact is getting created, it immediately go to next step, and this is where we are navigating it. And in this navigation, we asked to navigate that into a new page, right? Now this is active. Let's test it out. Refresh this page. Now what I'm gonna do is let's add new contact for navigation test, email etc and phone number, and then I click on create contact. The expectation is this should open in a new tab. Let's click create a contact. You see, it navigated to the new contact and this contact should be tagged to the respective account, and we are good. And this is how you can use that navigation. You see, the fifth contact also got created under the same account. It is automatically navigated here. And if you have seen, we are not getting any message saying that this is contact created successfully, some confirmation, right? We can also do that within the same flow. So we can do that by a toast action. So we can just search show toast message, which is like a banner or a success message, or you can do it as an information message, success in the green, error in red, information in gray, right? So we can do something like that. You see, this is information in gray. It will show the message in gray. I wanted that in success, warning in orange, error in red. So I wanted that to show as a success message. So let's click on success, and dismissal is manual, which means you need to cross it to close it, close that message. What is the error message? Contact created successfully. Now we'll just update the label as show success toast message, and let's click on save as new version, save, and activate. So now what we are saying in this flow, after creation of contact is done, show a message and also navigate to the new page. Let's see how that works. So go to the same account again, refresh this, new contact for toast message test, and email and phone, and click on create contact. It has displayed that message and it is navigating to the new screen. So obviously we can put it separately, but just to show how those things works, I'm just showing it here. You need to click manually to close it. If it is an information box, it will be in gray color. If it is an error, it will be in red color. And if it is a warning, you can put it in orange. It will be in orange. You don't need to put it. Warning itself will convert to orange color. You can manually close it, or it will have a dismissal type also. Dismissal in the sense within 5 seconds it will get dismissed automatically. So let's close it, and anyhow it is navigated to the new screen, so we are all good. Let's take the quick summary. Screen flows to be chosen when user needs an UI to be built. Any requirements that comes to you for a user interface, then you should be thinking of screen flows first. Salesforce always recommends low code or no code approach, so always lean towards screen flow. Debugging is your best friend, so try to debug whenever things are not going as expected. Error handling is not optional. Including them into your flows makes you right Salesforce consultant. Before starting our first flow, these are the elements that I said we need to know. Let's see how many of them we already covered. You see, create, we have used for create contact, update, we have used it for update contact, get Get we used for getting the contact query with the same phone number. We have used screen component. We have used assignment. We have used assignment to assign the values of screen values into the contact record. We have used decision to make sure whether the contact already exists or not. Action, we have used page action to navigate to a new record. We have used show toast action to display a banner message, and we have used a default path. We have used the variable. We have used the variable to store the account ID. We also used record ID. Record ID is nothing but we have used a checkbox, right? Available for input. By using that, we have passed account ID value into the flow. So that's what record ID means here. That's what it is. Great job. We almost covered 40-50% of the flow elements. Pat your back. Way to go. Scenario number 7. I have a requirement. On my account, once it's inactive, I need a button on account page to update all its open opportunities to closed lost. Okay, do you mean something like this? Active is no, and you should be able to see a button close all opportunities, and you click on it and then all your opportunities should go to closed lost. Is that what you're expecting? If that's the case, we can do this, but no user interface required. So we don't need screen flows at all. Oh, no screen flow? Are you asking me to write a code for this? Of course not. For this kind of non-UI interactions required, Autolaunched flow type has to be chosen. For a screen flow, we require a screen and then we do the process and then it goes to end, right? In the same way, Autolaunched flows are something where you click on a button and then you call a particular logic and then it goes to end. Not only the button, it has a different ways of calling. So that's the reason it's called Autolaunched flow. It can be launched from different places. In this example, we are doing it from a button. Let's head back to Salesforce. Here, if I can go to details, we should be seeing something called active. Right here, this is where you are seeing yes and no. Now, we need a button here which should call a flow to close all the open opportunities to close lost. How many opportunities do we have? Here we only have one. We'll create a couple more and then we'll test it out. Okay. So let's create the flow first. Okay. Let's click on Flows tab and try to click on New Flow. Here in frequently used, you should be seeing we have already done with screen flow. Now there is something called Autolaunched flow, right? It can be invoked from Apex, REST API and more. In this case, we have button, we have a different flow. It is the most frequently used flow. Okay. So click on this Autolaunched flow. From where it will be called is something that we need to decide. But at this point of time, if any process calls this flow, we need to get that information and then we need to close the opportunities, right? So we need the account ID, only then we can find the opportunities, right? So let's create a simple resource where it can hold the account ID. So click on account ID, click on variable, and here let's call it record ID and make this data type as text, and it should be available for input, which means this information is being fetched from a different place, which is account detail page in this case. Okay. So click on done. We need to query all the opportunities and then we need to make them close lost. There are a couple of ways to do it. I can use get operator, and then once I get all the opportunities from this get operator, I can update them. This is one way. There is a direct way where we can directly update them by querying them. So let me click on here, click update record, update open opportunities to close lost, right? Now here we need to specify the conditions to identify records and then set field values individually, right? So click here, and which object we are trying to get? Opportunity. So what is the field? By account ID, which should be matching with this record ID, right? This record ID will be sent from account detail page. So record ID. So now it will fetch all the opportunities matching with this record ID. Let's say if there is one, we'll get one opportunity. If there is two, we'll get two opportunities and more, and so on. Now, once we got that respective opportunities, we need to update the field values. So what is that field value? Here we wanted to make the status to closed lost. Stage equal to closed lost. Yeah, one more thing I just wanted to confirm. So we need to get the open opportunities only, right? So which means we need to put stage not equal to closed one, and we also need to mention closed lost. So they should be open, which means they should not be closed, right? So to not equals to closed lost, right? Now we have this stage, we got all the opportunities which are not matching with the closed status, and we are trying to update the status to closed lost for this record ID, right? So this is as simple as that. You see, we were able to create Autolaunched flow, right? Let's click on save, and I'll save this as close open opportunities, right? Click on save and activate. We have activated it. Now I wanted to create a button here, and I need to call that flow from this button. How can I do that? So let's go to object mode for this account here. So to call as any screen flow from a button, you can go ahead with new action. You can click on new action, and if you can call a screen flow, you can directly call it from here. Let me click on flow, and here you should be able to find the screen flows only. So we have created quick contact, right? So you can click on quick contact here to call your respective flow if you wanted to do that from a button, right? But you cannot call Autolaunched flow from new action. You should be navigating to new button. This is how you should be able to call a Autolaunched flow. Here you can provide the label, right? I should be selecting that detail page button. I don't want it a link, or I don't want it as a list button. I want it to have a button. So I will say that close open opportunities. Here you can directly need to provide the flow URL. So flow URL is something like flow / and you should be able to provide the API name of that flow. Okay, so where is that? Go to that flow, and here to find the API name of that flow, you should be able to do it from here. Copy and paste, and from this you can call this flow from this account, but you need to pass the parameter of this account ID to that respective variable that we have created. You can do that by adding question mark. This is how you can add parameters to URL. So what is that variable name that we have created? It is record ID. So record ID equal to, this is where you need to send your ID of that account. So this is the account ID, and that will be added as a merge field. So as soon as you click on this button, this flow will be called by using this URL, and the account ID will be passed to this parameter, right? So let's click on save. You can add some written URL as such, but I wanted to make things simple, so let's keep it as is. So now we have the button created, but we need to add that in our layout. Okay, so let's go back to record page, click on record page, edit it, and let's click here and upgrade now. So these are dynamic actions, so you can just put upgrade. Now you need to add your button here, right? So add action. Here you see close open opportunities. I will just add it, click on done, and I will place it little top for us to quickly see it. Not only I will add that button, maybe I can add the visibility. So I just wanted to show that only if the active is no, right? Active equals to no, only then I wanted to see this button, so that user don't really click on that button even for active accounts. So click on save. This is how you can set the visibilities of buttons, just for your information. Click on save. So we have our account record ready, and we can test it now. Click on refresh page. So can we see that button now? No, we are not. Now let's change the active status to no, and let's check that out. You see, now the button is completely displaying on our screen. Before we click on that button, I will just add one more opportunity for you to show. So this is in qualification stage. I will quickly create another opportunity. New op, close date, let's give it anything else stage. I will give it as, I think that should do. Click on save. Now I click on this button, the expectation is both of these opportunities should go from need analysis to close lost, qualification to close lost. Let's check it out. So click on close open opportunities. Your flow has been finished. So if I would have given the written URL, then obviously it should have been gone back to the opportunity. We will check that as well. But let's refresh this page and then check. Scroll down, you see both of them changed to close lost. Now let's quickly go and add the written URL so that this page will be still there in the same place. Let's go back to that button again, closed opportunity, open opportunities, click on edit. Let's quickly add the written URL. You can do that by adding end ret URL equal to, we can just put slash, and you can just give the ID of this account. So again, which means as soon as the submit or this button has been clicked, it will return to slash this ID. This ID is nothing but the same record ID. Okay, we are navigating back to the same record ID. That's what it means. Okay, let's check that how it works. So click on save, and now here I will add one more opportunity, new op 2 and close date to 28, and then stage 2 qualification, save. Now out of these 3 opportunities, 2 of them already closed, and now this should get also closed, right? So let's click on, I will refresh this page and I will click on close open opportunities. Click on it. Now it is doing the action and then it came back to the same record ID, and now if you scroll down, the value did not change. Refresh it and then check. Yeah. Now all of them have been closed lost. It takes a while to update the status, but this is how you can do it. So Autolaunched flow is being called from a custom button, and that custom button is updating the opportunities. Not only this, you can actually add updation of cases as well. For that account, if you want to close all the cases, open cases, you can add it in the same flow. Just down here, add the update and the same logic that you can do. And all this with only one single update element. Impressive, isn't it? This looks great. I can launch this from any button and I can perform any action. Autolaunched flow is cool. Yes, Autolaunched flows will make life easier. 70% of the actual use cases can be done by Autolaunched flows itself. A quick thumb rule before we proceed. Always give meaningful names to your flows and its element, as if the person who maintains your flows will be a violent psychopath who knows where you live. But I have a doubt. Why you need to click on button to close your opportunities? User needs to make sure if account is inactive and then he must click to close this. Flow can do much better. Why can't we automate this? What do you mean? I mean, why can't we automatically call this flow as soon as user changes active to no? Which means this button click step will be completely removed. You change this active status from yes to no, and this flow will be automatically called, and that flow will update the open opportunities to close lost. How about that? That's so awesome, dude. Which flow can do this? Screen flow or Autolaunched flow? No, it's a new flow type. It's called record triggered flow. As the name suggests, this flow will be triggered whenever a record changes. So as you know, screen flow can be called from a screen, and Autolaunched flow can be called from a button, or it could be from a different place. But when it comes to record triggered flow, whenever you insert, you update or delete a particular record, you can have any process to happen, any logic to get called. That's what is called record triggered flow. In our scenario, we are trying to update an account record, and we wanted to call a logic where we wanted to update the opportunities to close lost. From record triggered flow, if you insert, update or delete, if you want to do any action, something like sending of email, inserting of some other records, updation of other records, deletion of other records, you can call external system or pre-populate some of the fields which is getting inserted or updated. You can throw some validation errors, and you can do many more complex scenarios. All this by using record triggered flow. So from record trigger flow, there are some events available in which you can do these actions. Before insert, after insert, before update, after update, and before delete. Which means before insert you can do any of the action that you can select. After insert you want to do some kind of action. So does for before update and for after update. And finally for before delete. Behind the scenes, whenever a record is inserted and updated or deleted, you may think that it's directly updating database. No. Whenever you insert or update or delete, it won't directly go to database. Instead of that, it will do a world tour before saving those changes into database. You don't believe me? Let me show you. Whenever you insert a record, there are some particular blocks that will get executed. So flows apex triggers will run before it is inserted into database. After it is inserted into database, finally it will go for commit. In this case, triggers will be there, you can write your logic. Record trigger flows will be there where you can write the logic. Else you can keep that or you don't need to write it. But always it will check if there is any trigger available or flow available before it is committing into the database. Right? And this is the order of execution for when you insert. In the same way, when you update, there is a similar operations that will run for before update flow and before update trigger. So does for after update trigger and after update flow. If you write some logic in the respective triggers or flows, that logic will run, else there is no logic to run, right? Fun part here is, regardless of whether you write a logic in these respective blocks of flow or apex trigger, poor Salesforce always checks each of this block in the same order during the execution to see if any logic exists and executes accordingly. If the logic doesn't exist, it will move on to the next step or next block to see if any logic exists. And finally, it commits into the database. You said for my requirement, record trigger flow can do it. How do I know where should I write my logic? Record triggered before flow, record triggered with after flow. And this is an excellent question. Let me help you with that. So you see the blocks which are available before it inserts into database are called before blocks. Before flow and before triggers will have that. And so does for after trigger and after flow, after update flow. Here, there is a very clean set of items that you can do or you should do for before flow. There are only two things. One is if you want to pre-populate any field value of the same record which is getting inserted or updated, you need to do it in before flow. And you can also have some validations that you can do in before flow. Anything else other than these two should go to after. Something like sending of email, updation of any other records into any other object, customer notifications, callouts, and much more. As per the above action, decide which one to choose. In your case, we need to close open opportunities when account is made inactive. This should be done in after trigger as you are trying to update some other object records. Like I just mentioned, our action, our requirement is not falling under before, so obviously it is in after. We should be doing it in after. And simple thumb rule, like I just told you, if we need to pre-populate any field on the same record that is getting inserted or updated, or showing an error for invalid data, it's a typo error, choose before flow. In any other case, choose after flow. As per this, we are trying to update the opportunities to close lost whenever account is changed. Account is not inserted, account is changed from active to inactive. So it should be after update. Why? Because this will only happen, or this should only happen when account is getting updated, right? Let's do this in Salesforce. Let's go back to Flows and click on New Flow. And here, in frequently used flows, now you should be finding something called record trigger flow. Click here, and then it will ask you on which object you need to do this action. For us, on account, if you change active to yes and no, we should be able to do some action, right? So I go here and I will select account. So when it should work, it should be on create or update or delete. In this case, yes to no, this is the only time which gets updated. It will not usually get it from insert, right? During the insertion of an account, you don't even have opportunities. So insert is completely invalid here. we need to have this action to be performed whenever account is getting updated, right? Now here you have two fast field updates, which is nothing but pre-populating of the fields. You see, before the record is saved, this is before and this is after. In our case, we need to update other object records, which is opportunities to close lost, right? So you can click here and you can add condition here itself, or you can add a decision box here to make sure the status, active status change to yes or no, right? So I will leave the default condition as is and I will add a decision box here. Okay. Now what I would do is I selected this and I will click on plus. Here I will add a decision box. Active status equals no. When we call it no, the status active value is no. Here you see triggering account and the previous values. So if you change any account value, the previous values will be stored in this instance and the current values that user provided will be there in this instance. So click here, and if I can scroll down, I should be finding something called active here. Active equals no. If the active status is no, then I can call an outcome as no and default outcome is yes. Okay. Now here I need to do this updation of all those opportunities. I have two options. I can directly click here and then select update, and I can do the same thing which I have done in the previous flow, or I can call that flow which I already created. You see, auto-launch flows can be used as a reusable logic flows. So how to do that? There is something called subflow. Click on it and here it will ask you which subflow I wanted to call. What is our subflow name? Close open opportunities. Open opportunities. I will just give it a label name. Now here this is expecting the record ID. So obviously this particular auto launch flow is getting record ID from the account detail page. Here also we have account record directly available because record triggered flow will hold the account record which is getting inserted or updated or deleted, right? So I can click on included because I wanted to send this record ID. So if you need to send any parameter to any variable for this respective flow, you can just toggle this to include and you can add a parameter. What is the parameter? Triggering accounts ID, account ID. If you carefully observe, it is having a record. $record is nothing but $record is something which you can see in record triggered flow. $record will hold the current record values. The entire account or entire contact, whichever record is getting inserted, the entire instance of that value will be there in this $record. So we are sending account ID to this respective flow, and this respective flow is already having a logic to take the record ID from any other place, like it is from the account page or it is coming from another flow, and then it will find the opportunities matching with that respective status not equal to closed, and it will close it, right? So what we are going to do is, let's go back to this flow and let's save this. I can call it as account flow and click on save. Now I will click on activate. So what we are telling here, as soon as account is updated, do an action. What action? Find whether the active status is no. If the active status is no, then you can call this subflow. And I can add one more condition. See, not only active status no, we should be making sure the active previous value is yes and the current status value is no. How to do that? Like I just mentioned, the previous values will be there in this instance and current values will be there in this instance. So click here and then I say active equals yes. What I'm saying here, if the previous value is S and if the current value is no, which means user explicitly changed from S to no, only then find the opportunities which are open and then close them. That's what it is. So click on save as new version again, save and activate. Now we need to test it out. So this account, what is the current status? Current status of active S. If I change this to no, the expected result is under this related there are 3 opportunities out of which 2 opportunities are open, 1 opportunity is closed one, right? We need to close this automatically. So earlier we have that button, now we will just change that to no, and the expected result is they should get auto closed. Let's go back here. See, auto closed. So we completely automated, else the user needs to click here and then do that action. Now record triggered flow was able to call that logic via a subflow or Autolaunched flow here. Excellent. Record triggered flow made my life easier. I have another requirement. On account objects, user needs to fill both shipping and billing address all the time. If shipping address is not filled, pre-populate it from billing address. If we need to pre-populate any field on the same record or show an error on invalid data, choose before flow. From your particular requirement, you need to pre-populate the shipping address from billing address. So the verdict is before flow, as per the thumb rule. This pre-populating of the fields can be done in both before insert and before update, because when they are inserting, they can update the billing address so that shipping address can pre-populate. Even when they are updating, even then we can update the shipping address from billing address. So in both before insert and before update, we need to write our logic. Let's come back to Salesforce. The ask is very clear and it's simple. So whenever we are creating an account, and if you provide billing address and if you don't provide shipping address has to be populated from billing address. Simple. So to do that, let's go back to Flows, click here and click on New Flow. And here we need to identify our record triggered flow, and this is where we need to select our object first. So where is exactly this is happening? This is our account. Now, whenever account is getting created, we can provide billing address. Let's say we did not give shipping address, it has to be populated. So create it is, right? Not only that, there is a chance that for any of the existing accounts where there was no shipping address, right? Now if you update that respective account, we wanted that billing address, if there is any, should have been populated to shipping address, right? So that's the reason you need both. So we have create, we have update, we also have create or update, which means this particular flow will run on create context and update context, and we wanted this to happen before the record is saved, which means before the record is getting created, this flow will be called. Before a record has been updated, this flow will be called, right? So I'm not putting any entry level conditions here because I wanted more control into my flow. So that's the reason I can add my own decision box separately, so which I would do here. Okay. Why would I need a decision box here? So to know whether the shipping address is empty. Not only that, I also need to understand whether the billing address is not empty. If shipping address is empty, not null, right? So how do we know that? So we'll have two outcomes, yes and or default, or we can put no. So how do we know shipping address is empty and billing address is not empty? Let's come to shipping address. We can find the respective record, inserting account or updating accounts information in triggering context record, right? This is something which we have seen before. Here you have something called shipping address directly, but don't go to that because in before context you will not see this populated. So this is a compound field, which means it is a set of fields which is a combination of city, country, state, street and zip. Okay, so we need to give conditions for each. So shipping city is null, true. So shipping city is empty. In the same way we need to do it for others. Triggering shipping country. Here we have country and we also will have country code. Always choose code. For country we have code and state also we have code. Use the codes, not the actual field. Okay, so click on country code is null and true. And shipping country is done. State, as I mentioned, it should be code. Okay, you see this is a code, province code. Here it is just a state province. Okay, now I will select code. State province code is null, true, and let's find the zip code. I think shipping. We have street and zip code left. So is null, true. Again, triggering, shipping, and zip code is null, true. So what we have done so far? So we have checked whether the shipping details are empty for that respective record. Not only that, we also need to make sure billing address is not empty, right? Only then we can populate it from billing address. Else what is the point of populating it, right? So we'll do the same thing. We want all the billing fields should be available. So do the same exercise again. So triggering record and billing city is null. Now it should be false, which means the value has to be there. Is null, not null, right? Is not null here. So here again, let's search for billing state. As I mentioned, search for codes, not for the actual fields. Is null and false. And again, let's search for billing country. Is null, false. We are left with two more fields. Triggering billing street is null, false. And last but not least, triggering billing zip code is null, false. Right? So you may also have observed triggering account and prior values of triggering account. So whenever a record is getting updated, the value that the latest value will be there in this record and the previous values will be there in this record. Let's say if for a particular field, billing country, it changed from United Kingdom to United States. The United States value will be there in this particular instance. United Kingdom will be there in this instance. The old value will be there here, new value will be there here. Usually you will be using these context variables for comparing what is the previous and the current values. So at this point of time we really don't want that. Now here we have added all the fields to make sure shipping address is not given and billing address is provided, right? Now, so given that shipping address is empty, we need to populate that value with the billing address. So let's close this out. And here you would be seeing another plus and then update triggering record. The record which is getting inserted or the record which is getting updated, we wanted that value to be that record's shipping address to be populated from billing address. So this is the value that you need to select. You also would have seen update related records, which means before the record is inserted or before the record is getting updated, if you want to update some related records of that account, you can do from this. However, this is not at all recommended. Any updations on the related records is not at all recommendable in before context. This is running in before context, in before insert and before update. So ideally we should be only updating the triggering record only. Okay, so let's click here. Now I would say populate shipping address from billing address, and the values I should be getting it from, I need to get it from shipping city. I will get it from triggering records billing city. Now city is done. Let's find the street. Shipping street, let's get it from billing street. And again billing shipping country. As I told you, always use codes. You don't need to use values. If code is populated, automatically values will be populated. So use country code. So you need to get it from triggering accounts billing country code. Shipping state province code. Triggering record TRGG triggering accounts billing state code. And we are left with zip code. Shipping zip code and accounts billing zip code. I think we are done, right? So let's quickly check. So whenever account is getting inserted or updated in before context, then we are checking if shipping address is empty and billing address is not empty, then updating the shipping address from billing address. So click on save, account before, save, insert and update. and click on save. Activate and go to related accounts. Let's click on new and demo account. Scroll down and search for billing country, United States, test street, city test, and billing state Alaska, and zip code 99910, and click on save. The expectation is shipping address should also get populated from billing address. You see, it got populated. Now this can also happen in update. So in update, before this update flow to kick in and update these values from billing to shipping address, you know the condition, right? Shipping address should have been empty. Only then that update will work, right? Let's find another account, okay, and then see how update is working for that. Okay, let's click on, yeah. So this is another account where it doesn't have shipping address. So if I update this, then the expectation is shipping address should have been available. Either I can test this or I can also test from the debug. Let me show you how we can test this in debug again, okay? Burlington Textiles Corp of America, right? Let's go here and click on debug. So we are testing this in, before context and update, right? So search for account, it is showing up some accounts. This is the account that we want to test. And skip start conditions. We do not have any start conditions, so whether we check it or uncheck it, it doesn't really matter. But it is asking what values that you want to update. So just to make sure, we will change the billing address here. So you have shipping address all empty. Billing street, we have it. So what I'm gonna do is, in billing street, I will add some demo as a prefix, right? To make sure our all billing address is moving to shipping address. Even though I don't provide this demo as such, it will still go. I'm just making sure the values that we are entering is really going into shipping address. So run, and you see, as per this, it is going here and going here. See, you see the dark line to make sure which path is going up. So in populate shipping address, it is saying that these values are populated. If I scroll down on account, shipping address is populated with these values like demo and all. You see, this is the JSON format of the shipping information. Shipping, where is the shipping street? Yeah, shipping street, demo, right? But this particular record will get rolled back. You see, it will get rolled back. If you do the debug for record triggered flow, they will get rolled back. So if you go back to this record and then just refresh it, it obviously will not have it anything because the values will get rolled off. So we can test it again here just to make sure. Okay, so click here, we'll do the same stuff here, add some demo, and then click on save, and you see shipping address populated. So this is how you can work on your before flows. Nice. When account status being changed from active to inactive, and if there are any open cases, show an error. So carefully observe, user is asking to show an error here. The error should be open cases, high 3, medium 2, low 2, or tag to this account, cannot mark to inactive. So here user also wants to display the number of the priority cases also in the message. It's a little tricky but not difficult. How to do this? Again, we need to go ahead with our thumb rule. If we need to pre-populate or to display an error for invalid data, we need to choose before flow. In this case, we need to display error, hence the verdict is before flow. So let's head back to Salesforce. Here on an account, let me create a sample account and we'll create some cases. Okay, so demo account and should be fine, and for this account we'll create few cases. Okay, so case 1, let's create a high priority case. Okay, new, it should be a high priority case. Let's give subject, well, subject case 1, I think should be fine. Yep, let's case origin phone, save and new, and let's create case 2, again another priority with high, and case origin phone, and let's scroll down, case 2. Okay, and let's create another case with medium, it's already fine, and let's scroll down, case 3. So far we have created 3 cases, 2 high, 1 medium. Let's create one more case with low. priority low, and case origin email, and case 4. All of them are currently active, none of them are closed, right? So let's say if I can go back to account and the status currently it's active. If we make active no, then it should give an error saying that there are 4 cases, out of which 2 high cases, 1 medium and 1 low case are associated with this account, hence you cannot mark it inactive. That's the requirement. Okay, to do that, so user changes from whenever user changes active status to no, then we should be getting this error. Let's come back to the flows and click on new flow. Here we need to create a record trigger flow. Click on record trigger flow, and which object? It should be account. Whenever account is getting updated and if the status changes from anything to active no, then we should be getting error. There is one more thing. If you can see, there is an asset async path. If you can select this, any calls that you wanted to do, you can do it in an asynchronous path. Okay, but we are doing it in before context. That will not be available in before context. This is just for information. Okay, it's not related to this use case. If you select before context, async path is not available, but async paths are used for doing a callouts or to do some operation asynchronously. Okay, so here we need to do a before context because we need to show an error to users. Now, before context is selected, now we must know whether account status, active status changed to active or inactive. So we need a decision box, right? So let's select decision, and here if inactive selected. Okay, let's click on yes. So when we can say inactive is selected, we can say inactive selected if triggering records active is changed true, so which means it has been changed, and the changed value is again active, changed value is equals no. So if someone changed the active status and if the value is no, only then we need to check the cases. Okay, once we check the cases, we need to identify how many cases are open, right? So active changed and active equals no. Then we need to identify, we need to get all the open cases first. So we can do 3 queries. One like get the cases which are high, get the cases which are medium, get the cases which are low, and we can show an error. But 3 queries on the same object is not at all recommended. That's why we need to query only once and then we need to delete later. Okay, so get records. Which records we need to get? Get all open cases associated with this account. Okay, and it is case, and here the status. So when we call open cases, if the status not equal to closed, if status not equal to closed, obviously they are open cases, right? So this is how you can get the open cases. Now we got the open cases. Now you need to understand, you need to grab the records which are high, medium and low. You need to know the count, right? So that's why you need to loop through all these open cases and you need to have different conditions to make sure how many are high, how many are low, how many are medium, right? Click here and you can write something called loop. Loop in the sense it's a for loop, looping through all the open cases. So we can say loop through all open cases. This is how you need to use loops. So what it will expect a collection variable which is nothing but this list. Open cases. Why it's not? Get. It's not coming because I think in this query there is some here, instead of only one record, by default this will be selected. We need to get all the records which are open, right? So now that we have selected all this particular query will give a list. Now you can select this list in here. You see, cases from get all. Okay, earlier it was a single record. this will expect error. That's the reason it's not showing up. Now we have selected all of them. Now we should be seeing all the open cases here from first to last item, right? Now we got the loop. Now we need to put a condition. If the case is high, if the case is medium, and if the cases are low, right? So that's why again you need to put another decision box. Case priority. Okay, and you can say high when you say high. If the looped record current item from the loop through all the records, right? So if the current item priority equals high, then that will be a high outcome. Now if it is medium, is nothing but the same loop record priority medium, and of course if it is not high, if it is not medium, obviously it will be low. Okay, so I can just directly mark it as low. Okay, now so what exactly we have done here? You see, I'll just zoom out. So it looks tricky, but it is not. So we are looping through all records. After we loop all the records, if the priority, we are trying to find all the priority of each one of them. If it is high, it will go here. If it is medium, it will go here. If it is low, it will go here. Now we need to add a counter, which will increase the value of that counter for high records, medium records, and low records. And then we'll display error message here with that count values. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is, by default we need to create a counters. Okay. Let's create few counters. You can say high cases counter, data type is number, we don't want decimal, and done. Again another medium cases counter, again this is another number, decimal is 0, and done. And again third one, low decimal priority counter, and number and 0, and done. Now we have 3 priorities, we have 3 variables, so we just need to increase the counter. Okay. However, when we created it, we need to give a default value as 0. Don't forget to do that, else it will give an error. Default counter, default value is 0, and again third value is again 0. Now default 0, it will get incremented. Let's say first record comes here, loops through all open records. First record comes here. If the first record counter, if the first record's priority is high, it will come here. Now we need to increase the value of that counter. So we can do that by using assignment operator, increment counter. Okay. So what's that? Just update that high case counter, add by 1. Simple. In the same way, just copy this element and paste it here. Now change it to, instead of high, it should be medium. Not equals add. Okay. Now again copy this, paste here, and here it should be low. Add 1, right? And now we have counters. So by the time the loop ends exactly here. Okay, we'll have increment counter of high. Let's say we have 4 cases. First case come here, priority is high, so it will come here, and counter will get increased by 1, and then it will come back again. It will go up, and again the second case comes here, will come here. Let's say the case priority is high again, it will come here. The earlier counter was 1, now it will become 2, and then come here again, it will go up, and then again come here. Now for the third record, let's assume that's medium, the case priority is medium, it will go down, and the medium counter gets to 1. So now the medium counter is 1, high counter is 2. So again it will go down, and let's say the fourth case comes in, again it will come here, case priority is low now, and then it will go here. Now the increment counter of low is 1 from 0, and then finally by the time it comes here, all 4 cases were completed. So it will come out here, and then we are here. Now we'll display a message here saying that error. Open cases error. Okay, what's that error here? Open cases high. What's the number? High priority counter and low. Where is the counter again? Low priority, medium, counter again, or tag to this account cannot mark this inactive. Okay, so we are displaying open cases or tag to this account cannot mark this inactive. Okay, so now that we have done, let's save this. Account before update. Click on save. Schedule path. Oh, we have the schedule path. We remove this. Delete. Okay, let's cancel this. I think we are good. Let's click on save. Save. And activate. Let's go back to account. Let's try to make this inactive. Okay. We should be getting an error. Is that active? Just confirm it is active. And click on save. You see, open cases high, low 4, medium 1. I think there is something wrong. Oh, high cases 3, low 4 and medium. This is not the right answer. Let's go back here. I believe this could be the error. So we only, you see, we are getting the cases, open cases associated with this account, but we only have given the status, but we did not give the associated record. So account ID equals the record which is associated for this row, right? So triggering account ID. So we forgot this. That's the reason we are getting that bigger number. Okay. So only get the open cases associated with this account. Okay. We missed that part. Click on save. Activate. Go back. Click on save. High 2, low 1 and medium 1. You see, open cases are tagged to this account cannot mark this inactive, and this is the exact number. You see, high 2, high is 2, medium 2 and low 1. This is how we can show errors, and as part of this use case you also understood how to use loops. This looks great. I have another requirement. When a case gets created with priority high, an email, custom notification to be sent to assignee, and post it to the chatter to make sure it is not missed by the assignee. Oh my god, you're not taking chances for your high priority cases. Good. So for that we need to follow after flow. You remember our thumb rule, right? If we need to pre-populate any field on the same record or show an error on the invalid data, only then choose before flow, else after flow. In our case, we need to send an email notification and to post it to the chatter. So then we need to choose after flow, and in here, whenever a high priority case is created, hence it's an insert operation. So after flow in insert context. So out of this 5, currently we are working on after insert, and for some of the actions here are send an email and the other scenarios related to custom notification and posting it to the chatter. Let's head back to Salesforce. So the ask here is, whenever a case is being created, we must have, and that to a high priority case, then this case owner must receive an email notifying that there is a high priority case created. Not only an email, that person should be receiving a notification which should be displayed under this bell icon, and this person also should see, the case owner also should be able to see that under the chatter. It's like an Instagram feed or a Facebook feed, right? So there are 3 modes of information that this person needs to get for a high priority case. To do that, we need to go to Flows, create a new flow, and this particular action should happen on high priority cases creation. So which means we need to do it in record trigger flow, and the object has to be case, and when it should happen on creation of high priority. So which means a record has been created. Like we have concluded, this should be in after the record context. So once we have decided the object and the after context, we need to make sure whether this is a high priority case or not. So for that, we need to create a decision element here. Is it high priority case? How do we know that? So we will know that by using the field on the case. So on trigger case, we have something called priority, which will let us know whether this is a high priority case. So priority equals high. So we should be writing our logic of those actions here. If the high priority is no, we will not do anything. But if it is a high priority case, we need to perform some actions. What are those? So first thing here is we need to send an email. Okay, so for that, let's click on action. Okay, so click on action. Here we need to find something called send email. Okay, this is a standard action. So send email to case owner. Okay, here it will directly ask you to provide the recipient addresses. It's a plural, which means we need to provide multiple addresses, whether it's a single person that they are receiving or multiple people, but this is expecting us to provide an array or a list. Okay, so we can directly get this case and the owner IDs or email here. Okay, however, that's not a list, that's a text. Even though it doesn't give any error, that doesn't take it. It will not send an email to that respective email. So for that, you see here it will show a collection of recipient email address, collection of email addresses. So we need to assign our owner's email ID, case owner's email ID to a list. So we can do that by having an assignment here. Assignment add owner email to a new list. Okay, so we can create a list record on the fly by clicking on new resource from here, or you can also do it from here, new resource, or here also we can have new resource. Okay, so type is basically a variable, and we can say that email addresses, it's a plural, and data type is text, and it should allow multiple values. Only then this can be called as an array or a list or a collection. So click here and then plus. So as of now, this is an empty list with which we are going to add the owner email address. So case records owner email address. Okay, now we are adding the owner email address to this email address, and we can use that email address here in this send email action. So recipient address is nothing but our owner email addresses, and CC address you can keep it empty, BCC we can keep it empty. Sender type, it can be current user, default workflow user, or organized email address. Current user is nothing but whoever is running this. Workflow users we can set it up in setup in Salesforce, and organized addresses are something like a common email addresses for a company, right? No reply @salesforce.com, help@salesforce.com, something like that. Okay, that you can configure in setup. Okay, so for now we can leave that as is, so that it will send as a current logged in user. Okay, now you can have two variants in sending an email content. Compose email content, this is nothing but how you send a simple emails from your emails, right, from Gmail or from Outlook, whichever it is. You can just create your own subject, your own body, or you can also use from predefined email templates, the official format, right? So as of now, this is, I do not have any email templates that I have created for this use case. So I will directly create a subject here from, I will just update the subject from here. You can give a simple text, something like high priority case created, or you can also have a subject that you are directly getting it from this particular record. So every case record will have a subject field in that object, right? So I will just use the same subject to display it as an email subject. So click here and case, scroll down, not case, subject. Okay. You can also create a new resource combining this subject with some text, something like high priority, by creating a new resource of formula. Okay. But here I just copied whatever we have it on case subject, it will be sent it as an email subject. Okay, body. Body I will just give it as hi and I will just address with the last name of the owner. So trigger case will have the owner, inside this owner I will give the last name. Hi owner. So instead of rich text I will call it as plain text. I will remove everything again. Let's try it. Hi. Triggering owner last name. A high priority case has been created. Please address ASAP and case number. We'll just give it from here. Triggering case. So every case will have a case number. Let's put it here. Okay. And regards Salesforce. Okay. So it's formatted text body. I really don't want other values. I just keep it as is. You can also send attachments as well, but in this case I will keep it simple. Okay. So this is how you can set the sending of email. Now the second part is about sending a custom notification. Okay. Like we have created an action for sending an email, even for custom notification we need to follow the same approach. So click plus and search for action, and in action we have something called custom notification. This is another standard action that is provided by Salesforce in Flow Builder. Okay, send custom notification. Okay, what does that mean? Send notification to case owner. Okay. Now, here it accepts couple of information, custom notification ID, and it is asking notification body, title and recipient's ID. Notification type ID is nothing but we need to create a notification type first. Only then we can update here. Okay, so let's go back to setup and set something called custom notifications. So click here and it will, this is where you can create custom notification types. This is mandatory step. Okay, so click new. Here I will just say high priority cases. Okay, and this should be for desktop. Click save. Now you go back to Flow. Either you can directly provide the ID of this respective custom notification, or you need to get this custom notification by querying it and then do it. As a best practice, you need to query it and then notification. Okay, so we'll do that by get query first. Get, and here you can say get notification type, and here the object is custom notification, and the name, how we are getting it, by using the API name of that respective custom notification. So this is the API name or developer name, equals, here this is the API name, the other name is normal name. Okay, now this will get the notification ID which I can here. Okay, so where is that? Get custom notification type ID dot ID. Yes. Okay, notification body. Here again you can decide your own resource or you can give a simple text. So in the body I will just say that case high priority case created. Okay, in the title I will just give the name of that number of that case. So triggering case and then case number. You can play with whatever value that you wanted, but I will just keep it simple. So case number and the high priority case created will be the information that I will be seeing in that bell icon. So who will be the recipients? Okay, so if you can see, it is asking for IDs. What kind of IDs are there? So notification of recipients IDs are required. Here this particular parameter takes a collection again. It will not take a simple ID, it will take a collection. So this will take the Salesforce IDs of that users for whom this notification has to be received. In this case, we need to get the owner ID. But I cannot just go and give owner ID here directly. So I will have to add my owner ID or case owner's ID into a separate list again like we have done here, right? So we'll do the same action here. So click plus assignment, add owner ID to a new list. Earlier we have added email ID to new list. We are adding now owner ID to a new list. Okay. So I'll create a variable on a fly. So I'll create a variable on the fly. So click on new resource. What's the type? It should be variable. Here I would say owner IDs list. Data type is text and it should be allow multiple values collection. This is how we are making a variable to a list or a collection or an array. Click done. So now this list is empty. You need to add it up with our case owner ID. Now this owner IDs list will have the owner ID, and now we can use this list in here, right? So we have provided enough basic details, though this target ID and target page reference are not really required by mentioning star, but you should be giving one of them. So where exactly this should navigate? Let's say user clicked on that bell icon and you should be seeing that notification. You click on that notification, where exactly it should take you to is what this target ID or target page reference does say. So anyhow, case is getting created, so we wanted to navigate the user to that respective case itself. So click here, and here I will give triggering case dot ID, which is nothing but the case ID. Okay. Now if anyone clicks on that notification, it will take you to that respective case, right? So now we are done with case notification as well. So first we have sending the email to case owner. Now user is also receiving a notification. Now the next part is posting it to a chatter. So click here and again another action. It's pretty much the same action again. However, it should be another standard action provided by Salesforce called post to chatter. Click here. Here, post to chatter for case owner. Okay. Here, what's the message? So I will keep it simple. High priority case created. Target name or target ID. Who should receive this? So this should appear in case owner's chatter. Okay. So click here and triggering case owner ID. So for this owner ID, this message should appear in his or in her chatter. That's what it is. And let's click on save and case after insert flow. Save. Hopefully no errors, no, and click on activate. So what we have done? If it is a high priority case, when a case is getting created, if it is a high priority case, we are sending an email. So this email needs owner email in a list. That's how email action works. So we are assigning owner email into a list and then assign that list into this respective action. So email is sent to this case owner. And then we are sending a notification. For this notification to be sent to an owner ID, it will accept a list, not a simple ID. That's the reason we have added the list. And then that list is passed over to this action. Finally, posting it to a chatter for that case owner. So here we have defined the message and we also defined the person for whom it should appear in their chatter. Okay. So this looks good. Maybe we can just go ahead and test it. Let's go back and then click on cases. Let's click on new. And here I would say some account name. Priority is high. Scroll down. Subject. My security camera is blurry. Okay, so click on save. Now, okay, so urgent, let's watch that. Is urgent field? Yeah, here it is. It's a mandate field. Email or maybe phone. Click on save. Now, you see, a bell notification appeared and it should appear in my chatter as well. So, case has been created successfully first, right? And it has all the details that we have given. Now, if I click on this, it is showing me high priority case created. So, this is the number and this is the name. Okay. If I click on it, it should take me into the same case, right? Let's say I'm in different page. Let's say I'm in reports. I click here and if I click on this notification, it should take me to the case. That's what we have done as part of target ID in this particular place. Where is that? Target ID. Okay, this exactly is responsible for that navigation. Okay, let's go back again. So notification is clear. Let's check the chatter. In chatter again, high priority case created. We did not give any case number as such. That's the reason we won't get it. But even in his chatter, he should be able to see. Like I mentioned, this chatter is like an Instagram feed or a Facebook feed for a Salesforce user. Okay. Moving on, we are left with email. So let me open my email and then check. We got the email. Hi Shikal, high priority case has been created. Please let us ASAP and the case number. This is how you can do different actions for a given flow. Cool. Here is my another scenario. If my account is getting deleted, I want all my child contacts to be deleted as well. How can I achieve this? So the trigger point here is delete operation. So thumb rule primarily works for insert and update. So in this case, we do not have any thumb rule for delete. So, but the thing is, in record trigger flow, we only have one context, which is before context. So obviously, we need to follow before context in this use case. So in record trigger flow, we have done before insert, after insert, before update and after update. Now we are going ahead with before delete. On this delete operation, we wanted to delete some other records. In this case, delete its child records before the actual deletion is being done. Let's head back to Salesforce. The ask here is, for any given account, when you click a delete button here, the contacts that are associated with this account should get deleted as well. That's the ask, right? Now, in here, I do not have any contacts for this account. Let me create quickly for this. 2 contacts. Let's call it as contact 1 and contact 2, contact 1, contact 1, and other values will keep it as is. And let's click on save and new. So we have created contact 1. Let's create contact 2, Mr. Contact 2, and save. Yeah. Now, for this account or for any account, if we delete this account, the contact should get deleted as well. How we will know whether they get deleted or not? So let's open them before we check. Okay, so I have opened these contacts. Now let's create a flow for this. Let's search for flows and let's create new flow here. Click on new flow. And this is again a record triggered flow, right? So click on record triggered flow. Here we need to select the object. Now it's account. And if we can check, it should be on the delete. So whenever an account is getting deleted, we wanted to do something. Here if you can see, before the record is deleted, before contacts have been set directly, because there is only one context for delete operation, which is before. We do not have after, right? Now, whenever account is getting deleted, before it gets deleted, we also wanted its contacts to get deleted as well. That's what we are going to do now. So click here and set something called delete records. This is another element, and here we can say delete related contacts. Okay, and we can specify the conditions. So which contacts we should be deleting. So first select the object contact. We don't want to delete all the contacts, right? We should be deleting the contacts which are associated with the account that is getting deleted. So the account ID, which is a standard field on contact, equals the record triggering account, which is the deleting records ID. Scroll down. Yeah. and see, it's done actually. The flow is complete. Whenever account is getting deleted, before it is getting deleted, we are asking to delete the related contacts which are associated with that account. As simple as that. Let's click on save and then try to see how it is working now. Account, before, delete, flow. Save, and let's activate. And let's test it out. Go to this account, delete this account, and delete. Now that account has been deleted. Let's check whether these contacts that we opened here deleted or not. If we refresh them, they should not be available. You see, it's not there. And again here, refresh, it's not there again. And this is how you can perform before delete flow, and this is how you can delete some other object records. And yay, we have completed the entire record triggered flow events. See, as easy as that. Record triggered flows are very easy to understand, and they're very handy in solving multiple business use cases. With this, we have covered before insert, after insert, before update, after update, and before delete in record triggered flows. But in Apex Trigger, we have two more events which are after delete and after undelete. So if any use case that happened to be falling under after delete use cases or after undelete use cases, then we need to choose Apex triggers. There are some scenarios which we cannot do it with record trigger flow because of the complexity. Record triggers can do lot of things, but if the complexity is really high, that's when we need to look for Apex trigger. Apex triggers are completely coding, so choose Apex triggers only if it is not possible with record triggered flows. I have created another video on Apex triggers already. You can have a look. I will put that in description or the information icon on top. Scenario number 9. I want to delete all my dead leads on a daily basis. How can we do this? Here there is a queue here, right? Daily basis, which means this should be happening on a specific schedule, right? For such kind of scenarios, we have scheduled triggered flows. You can schedule a flow to delete your dead leads based on your requirement. So you can schedule a flow, and whatever logic you write inside that flow will run based on that schedule. Let's head back to Salesforce. Here we need to delete the dead leads on daily basis. So what we call a dead lead? So we can have any definition, but we can have something like any lead, let's say lead 1 and ABC company, and let's say we don't have any phone number, and if the rating or like lead status is not converted. So if it is not converted and if it doesn't have phone number or email address, we cannot contact that lead, and we are not converting that, right? So this kind of leads are not useful for us. We call such kind of leads as dead leads, right? So let's create such kind of leads and then see how we can write our flow. Okay, so here name again lead to ABCD company, and I won't give phone number again. There is no email, and I will call this lead status to closed not converted again. Click on save and new. So we have created two leads. Both of them are not having phone number or email, and their status is not converted, right? I will create another lead now, but I will have some values here. Lead 3 company, let's give something. Mobile number, I will give some phone number here. And if I scroll down, lead status, I will keep it open. Okay, and I will click on save. So now we have 3 leads. 2 of them doesn't have phone number or contact information or email, and their status is closed not converted, right? Those are dead leads. Those 2 leads are dead leads. Now we have other lead, which is this lead 3, which does have phone number. It has lead status open, so which means we can still connect with them, and there is a chance that this lead can be converted into an opportunity, right? So how we will do this deletion of dead leads on a daily basis? So this is how we can do it. Let's create a new flow, and here we should be seeing a new flow type, which is scheduled triggered flow. This will launch based on a specific schedule that you provide here, right? So start date, I will start from August 1st, and the time currently it's 4:45. So I wanted to run this around 4:50. Okay, so 4 I will just manually update it. So daily I wanted this to run at 4:50 p.m. Okay, so I will make it daily, and what I'm gonna do is I will write a delete operation on my dead leads. So delete records. So every day, daily, every day from August 1st at 4:50 p.m. I wanted to delete the records. So delete the dead leads. Okay. Here I can specify conditions. What condition is it? So click on lead, and here what is the status that it defines a dead lead. So status equals closed, not converted. Not only that, we also have one more condition, which is mobile phone is null, true. So we are telling if the status is not converted in closed status and if mobile number is not provided, then we can consider that as a dead lead, and we wanted those leads to get deleted from the system because we don't require them, right? So let's click on save. We're almost reaching the time. It's 3 minutes before this job runs. So delete dead leads on daily basis. Click on save and activate. So what we have done here, on account from August 1st 4:50 p.m. daily, we wanted this dead leads to get deleted, right? So we have a schedule and we have logic. Now let's go back to leads page and let's wait till 4:50 to make sure whether those 2 leads are getting deleted or not. We are seeing 3. Let's refresh at 4:50 and then let's wait. It's time. Let's refresh this page and we should be seeing only 1. Yes, we got only 1 lead which is in open. The other 2 were dead leads, they got deleted. Make sure the time zone that is there on your user is right, else you may not be seeing a proper result. You can also find whether your job is running or have been run from scheduled jobs. You click here and you should be finding your job, and here you should be seeing next scheduled runs. If it is already started, it will be shown up here. If it is not started, it will not show up here. This is how you can schedule your flows, and you can check your flows whether it is executed or not. Nice. Here is my scenario number 10. I want to create a contact whenever external system sends that information to Salesforce. External system? Okay. We have platform events. Platform event primary use case is to capture external system information and perform any action defined in the flow. So whenever a platform event is created, we can have a triggered flow run on its creation, and we can write our own logic inside that flow. What? I understood nothing. What is this platform event? Platform events are also kind of objects, looks like an object, but they are more of a transmitters and receivers. So in Salesforce, we can create a platform event, and in this case, it works like a receiver. Any external system can directly publish something to this platform event, and as soon as this platform event will have a record from the external system, we can have our own trigger written on this platform event. That is called platform event triggered flow. So on creation of this platform event record, we can have a flow run. On running of that flow, we can write our own logic. In this case, we need to create a contact count. Still confused? Don't worry, I will show you. Let's head back to Salesforce. Now the first step is to create a platform event. Okay, we did not go to the trigger logic yet. Now we need to create a platform event, because without creating platform event, external system cannot publish it into Salesforce, right? So here let's search something called platform event. Here you can create your own custom platform events. So click on new platform event, and here you can mention contact info from external, okay, and keep other values as is, click save. Now we have created a platform event. We need to have some parameters taken from the external system. Example, external system would send a contact name or an account name from external system. Let's assume click on new and we'll take text, next, and we'll select as contact name. Okay, just give some length. Okay, and click on save. Now this platform is eligible to receive a parameter called contact name. You can also add phone numbers, you can also add even account name also, you can also have some lead name. Let's assume we'll also get a lead name too. Okay, let's click new and click text and click on next, and here let's say lead name. Okay, I'll give 100 here again. Okay, now this platform is eligible to take two parameters from external system. One is contact name and the second one is lead name. Okay, it can be with any names. You see, this is __c. Now that we have created a platform event, as soon as external systems calls this with these two parameters, a record will be created under this platform event. You see the API name is similar to custom object. Instead of __c, it is __e. So this particular platform event will contain 1 or 2 or 3 records based on external system sending the data. Okay, let's assume as soon as a record is inserted here, we wanted our logic to run. So that's where record triggered flow usually runs for custom objects. For platform events, we have platform event triggered flows. That's what we are going to do now. So let's go to flows, click on new flow. In here, we wanted to call a logic whenever platform event is being called. So you see frequently used or these four, we need to find our platform event. Platform event triggered flow. Let's click on it. So it will ask on which platform event you wanted to run your logic. So we have created contact related, contact info from external system event. So for this platform event, which this exactly says whenever external system is publishing something to this particular platform event, then we need to run a logic. What we need to run, will create a contact from the information that is being passed into this platform event. So click on create records and add create contact. Okay, here I would say manually I want SN values, and on which object I need to create a contact, and by default we have last name, which is mandatory field. So last name has to be populated from the platform events contact name. You see, so now contact name which we receive on the platform event from the external system will be passed over to last name, and this will create a contact. Okay, we also have another parameter which is lead name. So I can also create lead also from the same platform event. So let's say create records, create lead, and I will again do the same manual population of fields, and I select lead. Even on lead object we have company name and last name. Let's assume I do not have two different parameters, but these two parameters are mandate. So I will add the same value of lead name in both the fields. From that platform event we have lead name. I will also have the same value again even in the last name too. Okay, ideally they should be different, but for a demo purpose I'm just showing whatever we are receiving in platform event under lead name parameter, we are just passing it to company name or last name, or I can just give company name as some demo company. Okay, I can hard code it as well, and click on save platform contact platform event, and click on save, and let's activate this. Now we have our platform event triggered flow ready. So we have created a platform event which can take parameters as contact and lead from external system. So whenever external system publishes a platform event data into Salesforce, platform event as a receiver will receive that information and it will create as a record in Salesforce under this platform event. Okay, so this is a platform event, right? So you cannot directly use it as a record triggered flow. You need to have a separate flows for events, which is nothing but our platform event record triggered flow. Platform event triggered flow. Okay, In this platform event, as soon as this event is published from external system, this will be called and we are creating a contact out of it, and then we are creating a lead out of it, right? Let's see how that works. We activated it. Now, how to publish it from external system? That's a question, right? We did not even think about it. So we have multiple ways to test an external system stuff into Salesforce. So we have Workbench, we have Postman, we have, if we really have an external system, we can do that. So to make things easy, I will use Workbench, which will work as a third-party system here. Okay. So Workbench, as soon as you open a Workbench, it will ask you the environment. So click on login with Salesforce. Either it will ask credentials, or as I already logged in, it will take me to the page. Here you need to search REST Explorer. So this is where you can call your Salesforce org like an external system. Okay. Here, to call a platform event, there is a very specific code. Okay. So services / data / version is completely fine. Now he also need to mention, even though platform events are basically platform events, you may need to mention as objects, and you need to mention the platform event name. So our platform event name is contact info from external system. Just paste it out here. So we are saying we are publishing this platform event, but we need to send the parameters. You can only send parameters if you put post as a method. So I'm putting post here. So it should be a JSON, because REST Explorer always send JSON as a data. Here you need to mention on which parameter I want to send what. So we have one parameter which is contact last name. I want to add something like demo contact from external system with platform event. Okay. I want to send another parameter, so I will put comma, and again just copy paste whatever we have added here, but now it should be lead name now, right? So again go back, lead name, copy paste, paste. Now we'll say demo last name, demo lead, or I could say demo lead from external system with PE. Now if we execute, basically this particular information will be sent to the platform event, and platform event will call the platform event trigger handler, and it will take our contact name and last name and then create the respective records here. Let's publish and then check it. So click on execute. I got a comma error, so I just copy pasted, right? So remove the comma and click execute. You see, it says it created an event, right? Now I go back to the contacts first. You see, currently there are 6 contacts. Let me refresh. It should be 7 now. If I scroll down, you see demo contact from external system with PE. You see, it has been created, demo contact from external system from PE. If I go to leads, now it is showing one more lead here, demo lead from external system with PE. See, as simple as that. Platform events are really super easy to understand, except that you need to know the behind concept. And if you understood till here, pat your back, because we have completed all the types of flows in Salesforce. Great job, guys. Now we entered into the final leg of the course, quiz time. Question 1. For a customer, UI have to be built to take a survey of 10 questions and create a record in survey custom object. Which flow type to be suggested? Screen flow, Autolaunched flow, record triggered flow, and platform event triggered flow. And the answer is screen flow. Very simple theory. If you need to build a UI, you either need to go ahead with LWC or a screen flow. So screen flow should be your first choice. If it is possible with screen flow, do it with screen flow. Else, only then go to LWC. Question number 2. Which flow can be used as a reusable module or a subflow? Screen flow, Autolaunched flow, record trigger flow, or platform event triggered flow. Subflows or reusable flows are something, a specific flow which can be referred or which can be used in other flows. Autolaunched flow. So you can create Autolaunched flows as a standalone flows which can be called from other flows, and they can also be called from custom buttons or quick actions, etc. Question number 3. Which event will be suitable to get called from external system? Screen flow, Autolaunched flow, record trigger flow, platform event triggered flow. And the answer is platform event trigger flows. You create a platform event and that can be published by the external system, and as soon as the platform event is published, we can have a platform event triggered flow to write our own logic. We have seen it in the last use case. When a record is created or updated or deleted, I need to perform an action automatically. Which flow type is suitable? Screen flow, Autolaunched flow, record trigger flow, platform event trigger flow. Record trigger flow. So record trigger flows are meant to do this kind of use cases. When a record is created, updated, deleted, we can call a record trigger flow to do our logic, to perform our logics as per the use cases. In record triggered flow, my requirement is to pre-populate few fields on the inserted record. Which event is to be preferred, before event or after event? If you can remember the thumb rule, you can answer this easily. And the answer is before flow. Why? Because any pre-population of a record, or if you want to show a validation error, you can do it only in the before context. Anything else should go to after event. In record triggered flow, my requirement is to throw an error if data is invalid. Which flow context is suitable, before or after? Before. As I mentioned, as per the thumb rule, if you need to show an error or pre-populating of fields of the same record, you need to go ahead with before context. In record triggered flow, my requirement is to send an email to the owner of case created. Which option is suitable here? A record triggered flow before insert or record triggered flow after insert? So after a case has been created, we need to send an email. And the answer is after insert. So as you remember the thumb rule, it's not either pre-populating of fields or a validation error. This is out of it. You need to send an email, or if you want to send a customer notification or any other action, it should go to after context. As this is case creation scenario, it is after insert context. What are the database operations that we can perform in flows? Get, create, update, delete. And the answer is all of them. You can get the query, you can create records, you can update records, you can delete records. The thing which you cannot do is you do not have a direct upsert element. That's the only difference. In record trigger flow, I would like to make a call out to external system how to make this happen. Future path or asynchronous path? And the answer is asynchronous path. So future is something like an annotation which is used in coding, but we are working on flows. From flows, you will have normal path and an asynchronous path. Whenever you want to do an external system callouts, this is the path that you need to choose, and you can write your logic to call external systems or anything that you wanted to happen asynchronously. Next question. On daily basis, I would like to find a list of high priority cases closed and send an email to sales manager. Which flow is suitable? Screen flow, Autolaunched flow, record trigger flow, scheduled triggered flow. Scheduled triggered flow. So whenever you see it has to happen on some frequency, whenever a logic has to work on some frequency of time, then you definitely need to choose scheduled triggered flows. You can create a scheduled trigger flows and you can write a logic to find all the high priority cases, and you can add another element to send an email to sales manager. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much. Finally, practice, and bye.